Hello, my name is Rob.
And I'm Rob.
And welcome to the Geek Show's Impossible Mission. Speaking of video games, what are we talking about this week?
Gaming fatigue. That dreaded thing that all gamers fear. That slayer of mighty heroes everywhere.
If you haven't had it yet, that must mean you're very young.
Yes.
Gaming fatigue is a thing where you've been playing games for so long that you just get tired. That results in you just not being interested in games. It results in a lot of people just walking away from games altogether.
Yeah. It's a bizarre scenario because there are so many games to choose from. There's so much diversity in games that by rights, you shouldn't end up with gaming fatigue.
There's thousands of games released every year, and I think that's a fair enough estimate.
It's like saying you get tired of watching movies or you get tired of watching TV. But the problem is that you do get tired of watching films. You do get tired of watching TV. You do get tired of reading books or reading comics or whatever. And I think right now we have so much diversity when it comes to entertainment and when it comes to media in general. It should be difficult for us to suffer from things like media fatigue in terms of gamer fatigue. But
this topic is set up basically to be a little bit more anecdotal. So my biggest bout of gaming fatigue would probably be PlayStation 3 era, because I followed sort of the critical darlings or like the big games for the year.
Yeah.
So basically what I am saying here is my gaming fatigue, my biggest bout of gaming fatigue was caused by Ubisoft. I was playing the Assassin's Creed games and the Far Cry games, and you went into that and you had this map of whatever kilometres, whatever miles, and you opened up the map and you saw ... all over the place. These are missions you gotta do, places you gotta go, things you gotta collect. I think realisation, there was, I don't know which Assassin's Creed game it was, but the one where you had to collect all of the pigeon feathers, and for the effort you were rewarded a 30-second cutscene. That was a point. I did that with a guide. Obviously I didn't do it via looking, that'd be stupid, but that was a case where I just thought, what am I doing with my time?
See, this is the thing, right? I think you've touched on something that I substantively hate about modern video games, is the reliance on fetch quests. And that is actually a main cause of... Because the PlayStation 4 era is actually my longest bout of gamer fatigue, but it's been kind of sporadic. There will be periods where I will play a game, but then I'll just not play anything at all for months. And then I'll go back and play another game that I really want to play, but then I won't touch the console at all for months. I might watch Netflix or something like that on the console or something, the limit of it, but I won't actually play games on it. I won't play games on the PC or on the Xbox or any other console. The most I will do is play games on my mobile phone, right?
So what caused your gaming fatigue, your current gaming fatigue? I mean, you said fetch quest, but...
Fetch quests are... see, this is the thing. When you have a mechanic in a game that becomes repetitive and actually serves no real purpose, it's there just to kind of pad things out, like the feathers thing for you in Far Cry, you know.
Well, Assassin's Creed, but yeah.
Well, sorry, Assassin's Creed. But when you've played games long enough, you start being able to notice these things. You start saying, okay, right, that was a pointless waste of 2 hours of my time, right? Why am I doing this, as you said? And then you stop, because you've reached a point where you're just questioning, what is the whole point of me playing these games? What do I get out of it? I don't get anything out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the reason why I've never... because coming back from that game of fatigue, it's made me question the way I play games. Because once upon a time, I used to be interested in the challenge. I always played it on normal, and if normal was too easy, I went on hard. And it got to the point where you go through the same bit over and over and over again, and you think to yourself, what am I trying to prove? That I can do this game and it's really hard.
Well, I think it's it's how you play in the games, but I think more importantly, why are you playing the games?
I mean, there's a reason why I've never really got on with sort of Dark Souls or Bloodborne or whatever like that, because you put so much time in it and you can get nowhere.
Yeah, but my point is, again...
Don't have the patience or the energy for that.
See, from my perspective, I question a lot why I'm playing a particular game, not how, and not... the two main things that I look at now before I even pick up a game is, why do I want to play this? And, who am I trying to prove stuff to? From my, I'm mid-40s now. I don't need to prove anything to anybody.
Yeah. The reason I brought that up is because I tend to play games on either easy or story mode. Just for story.
I'm the same. And the reason for that is because I'm playing the game as escapism. I'm not playing it to challenge me or anything like that. Everything that I need to know about how my life is, I already know. So this is pure escapism for me. I'm not trying to prove myself to anybody else. I'm not trying to challenge some teenager who lives half a world away to a match about whatever. Because at the end of the day, I don't need to. What's the point? What purpose does that serve in my life?
Wow, you got harder gaming fatigue than I've ever had.
See, this is one of the reasons why I don't get on with MOBAs and with a lot of online play, is because if I'm going to play games with my friends, I will play games with my friends and we'll enjoy it and we'll have fun. But there is a history there. There is banter there. I can't play with somebody who I've never met online because I can't have any banter with them. I can't have any fun with them because I would be too afraid of saying something that they might take as offensive.
Yeah. So let's not get too far down this rabbit hole. We've talked about gaming fatigue and it's very real and you go through it. The question is, how would you get back from it? How would you recover from gaming fatigue?
Stories.
Well, that's it. Video over. Done. Finished.
Follow me on this, okay? See, when I say stories, it has to be told in a certain way. It has to be done in a certain way. It has to be something that you basically can buy into or that is opened up over time. It's not something that you basically just suddenly get dropped into. And when I say stories, I'm not talking about games. Most RPGs, most third-person games, they will have some kind of story, but you know whether you want to play a particular game, right? You'll know just by watching the trailer, reading the blurb, you'll know if you want to play it. Say Control, for example, right? Control, you really want to play.
Yeah, but I'm not going to, because if I put it in my original PlayStation 4, not the PlayStation Pro, if I put it in the original PlayStation, it'll set on fire.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Ironically, I have no interest in playing Control.
You're talking about story, mine's related to story. I want to be part of a world which I remember.
Yeah.
So, I like looking at some contemporary examples, I really enjoyed Horizon, not for the story, not for the mechanics, but for the world that you're put into. I really enjoyed Witcher for the same reason, or Last of Us, or Devil May Cry. These are worlds that I enjoy being inside of.
This is where I come to the important part of the story bit, is can you buy into the world that the story's in? Which is a fundamental thing. The last actual game that I actually fully bought into and enjoyed playing the game, Spider-Man, right? I really enjoyed the Spider-Man game. The thing is, even the fetch quests in the Spider-Man game were fun because swinging through the city was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it got to a point though in that where it was basically the side quests were one of 4 things.
But
it became very...
Yeah, it becomes
boring.
very repetitive, but it takes a lot longer to get repetitive because you aren't running or driving from A to B, are you?
Well, that's true.
Or riding a horse from A to B. You're basically swinging through the city, and there's nothing more fun than swinging through the streets of Manhattan.
I think that's what worked for Batman Arkham, the Arkham games as well, because that was very fun to sort of just swoop around in the...
in the dark, in the cape, and just do the whole I'm Batman thing. See, you're absolutely right there. And you had the challenges to see how long you can glide for and stuff like that.
Yeah, the thing that ruined that game, though, was the Joker riddles, which is just...
Oh, the Riddler riddles, you mean, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Riddler sections.
I hated those. But you're right about the Batman games. That's what made... I mean, Arkham City was a lot of fun moving around and traversing the treetops and climbing on every
Treetops?
towers and stuff. You know what I mean? But that was a lot of fun, right? And I think that's one of the key things. It's how you get from A to B, how you actually travel through the game. You know, I think that's one of the fundamental things that can relieve a certain amount of fatigue when you're playing the game. But I think the important things are, you know, can you buy into the world, and is the story something interesting for you?
One of the games which is very telling of a lot of aspects of the industry is Darksiders.
Yeah.
Darksiders doesn't rock any boats whatsoever. It's really solid at everything.
Yep.
Which, in theory, it shouldn't cause you to just grow tired of it, or gaming in general. But because all it does is, it does its job as well as it has to. It's got good world building, it's got good combat, but it doesn't do anything beyond that. It doesn't take any risks. And that's the thing for me, is you played so many games which are basically on the same theme. And the ones that pulled me out of me funk was the most recent gaming fatigue spell was like a triple bill of modern classics. I played Horizon Zero, well, The Witcher, Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, and Spider-Man.
That's 4 games. Weirdly enough, the periods where I played games that weren't my normal type crafting game or something like that I actually really enjoyed, right? Where I was actually fully out of my gamer fatigue funk, right? When I played Children of Morta on the PC last year, very atypical game for me to play. Top down, very pixel graphics, very beautiful pixel graphics, but still pixel graphics, which, as you know, I'm not really all that with high quality graphics. I'll play a game I grew up playing bat and ball against my brother, so graphics don't equate to fun. But Children of Morta had a world that I could buy into, a story that I could buy into, and it had procedurally generated dungeons, which, again, I could actually challenge repeatedly. And I did, for a while. And then another one that was kind of completely the other end of the spectrum was Deliver Us the Moon. And that one is basically, I'm a sci-fi junkie, you know this. But the whole idea of zero-G and third-person, first-person zero-G combined with third-person elements as well, where you actually could explore the lunar surface, and you had a moon base, you had to solve the puzzles of what happened on the moon base, you had to basically say...
You should really play Outer Wilds.
Yeah.
That's on a similar level as those things.
But the other game that that pulled me out of my gamer funk was, or the gamer fatigue, was Disco Elysium.
Playing games that you wouldn't normally play is fine, but that's very telling of a current trend of video games that are basically tabletop card games.
Yeah, but Disco Elysium, I think, was unusual because it had a very painterly art style, but it was very... do you remember an old web game called Fallen London?
Vaguely, yeah.
Right. Disco Elysium, for some reason, gave me certain vibes of Fallen London in the way it approached certain aspects of the character development, of communication, of just basically the human psyche, that sort of thing. Gave me very Fallen London vibes. And that was until, Atelier Riser, which, again, I'm a Terminal Atelier fan. That will always pull me out of my funk.
Yeah, so have you got any advice to close on? So if you're going through gamer fatigue, how to get out of it?
Weirdly enough, I think both of us have good tips that we can give to people who are suffering from gamer fatigue. Okay, the first thing I'd do is basically walk away from the console. Don't stress about it. Right. The worst thing you can do is play a game in a period of during a period of time when you don't want to play games. The worst thing you can do is keep playing those games when you literally, your brain is saying, look, I don't want to do this. Go do something else. Watch TV with your family, watch movies, read books, whatever. Yeah. Don't force it. This kind of funk is something that you're not going to get out of by forcing your way through it. So don't force it, right? Something will catch your attention. Just basically, and I would say, when I say walk away from it, don't even bother with the news or anything like that. Talk to your friends if they're regulars. if you regularly talk to your friends over games, just say, look, I'm going through about gamer fatigue. I just need to stay away from games. Can we talk about something else? Right? If they're really your friends, they'll be happy to help. Right?
Of course, yeah.
And I think by leaving it for a while and not playing on your console or your PC or stuff like that, I don't put mobile games into the same category because everybody plays mobile games, but they don't treat them as games. In your brain, for some reason, it doesn't register as a game unless you're playing actual games on your mobile phone. For stuff like Bejeweled, Match 3 games, that sort of stuff, that's fine. So let's discount those. I think the other thing you can do as well when it comes to having gamer fatigue and coming out of gamer fatigue is actually go outside, have fun, play football, do other things.
Well, it's kind of hard to say that now, but relating to actually engaging with games, I would always say play something which you would never do otherwise.
Yeah.
If you're sick of third-person action games, you're sick of races, you're sick of shooters, try something else.
And this is the nuclear option, right? Seriously, this will probably solve your gamer fatigue for a while, but it is a nuclear option, and you probably will lose a day of your life to this. Civilization.
Yeah, well, yeah, that sort of
real-time strategy or facilities management game.
You take ownership of something, and it's just a completely... I mean, I think that's why Animal Crossing is doing so well right now, because it's such an utter unique pace.
Yeah, but you know as much as I do how dangerous those games are.
Yes, I do.
And if you want to solve your gamer fatigue, that would solve it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm playing Egg Inc. on my mobile right now, and that has the same sort of itch scratching as facilities management.
Yep.
Because it is basically one of them. But I think we've got a pretty conclusive path out there. But if you've got something else, some other way that you've conquered gaming fatigue, please do comment or tweet us at TGS_the Geek Show. But yeah, I think that's us for this week. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.